Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your tarot card reading and astrological horoscope for November 2022. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jane, just to quickly introduce myself. So we are moving officially into November of 2022. October was an incredibly eventful month, and now that we are making a transition into November, after the eclipse on November 8th, things should start to sort of subside a little bit. Now for these readings, like we did last month, I have two different segments. The first segment is going to be a tarot card reading, which is purely intuitive, and the second segment is going to be an astrological horoscope. Thank you all so much for the amazing feedback that I received last month on those as well. And some people like to watch the astrology portion first. So if that's you, then you can absolutely click on that timestamp down below, and then you can go back and watch the tarot card portion after if you prefer. Now, you can watch these readings for your sun, moon, or rising sign, although just know that the rising sign is going to be a little bit more accurate in terms of all the house placements of the transits. Timestamps for each segment will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below for easy access. And also down below in the description box and comment thread, there will be information regarding how to access the comprehensive readings. So let's go ahead and get into this for the month. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in just a sec. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your November 2022 tarot card reading. And before we get started, I just wanted to wish all of you a very happy birthday. I really hope you guys get to do something really incredible, celebrating your life with people that you love, doing something that you love. So hopefully you get to enjoy that. Now, I wanted to start this reading off a little differently than how I normally do it. I got some really positive feedback about this really intuitive deck. So before I even pull out the cards, I wanted to just pull out and do a really channeled message for you guys before we really get started. So overall, what does Scorpio need to know this month? Let's see here. So obviously this deck is just a bunch of random lines and squigglies. So I'm really feeling the energy of fire for you this month. That there's going to be some catalyst to lighting you on fire in terms of, and maybe because of the eclipses, right? But there's definitely a fuel being added to probably a fire that actually already exists. Fuel being added to the fire. And hopefully that's productive, right? Hopefully that's something good that you can use in your creative endeavors and with your relationships and your career and your financial goals. And you can really start to push. Maybe there has been a quality of holding back to a degree over the past couple of months. I know that when we hit Virgo season and then we made our way through Libra season, there was just a lot going on. But for you especially, with 11th and 12th house activation, there was a lot of detached energy because those houses tend to cause us to pull away from the world just a little bit and reassess and regroup. But now we have first house activation, which means you're at the beginning of a new solar cycle. And when we say fuel the fire, that may actually be the sun coming in contact with your ascendants, your suns, and your moons, whichever placement you're watching for. And that really igniting something. I feel that November is going to be a month where Scorpio is just really ready to go, where it almost feels like nothing can hold them back. And with the intensity of the eclipses going on, I think that may be a significant part of it. So I'm seeing a lot of, I'm not necessarily seeing a straight shot between the fueling of the fire and getting things and getting that momentum really going again and where you want to go. I am sensing a little bit of a curvature in the path. So don't expect it to go according to plan. Usually when we go about doing things in a very fiery, passionate kind of way, It's not to say we can't get there, because we definitely can. And we may actually get there faster than if we were to be more logical and rational, but it just may not always be the straight shot and everything working perfectly. So you can expect a few turnarounds and redos, especially with Mars in retrograde, a few little hiccups, but nothing huge. But I do think this is an excellent time to focus on the momentum that you're building for whatever it is that you're putting together in your life. Okay, so that's the first message that we're going to get. I'll just put this down here for a minute. Now, like we always do, I want to start off with a card that signifies what the universe needs from you. So what does the universe need from Scorpio throughout the month of October? Okay, whoops, I did this backwards, but that's okay. That was an accident. I normally like to pull out a court card as opposed to the major arcana card, but since that was an accident, we'll leave it there. And the sun, which is excellent. And I'm literally talking about fueling the fire. And many of you are literally going through solar return. So the sun is actually quite literal in this sense. So we have this self-expressive quality of identity and soul's ambition sort of coming online. And it's possible that Scorpio is starting to feel really, really good about not only about the way things are going, but also feeling really good about all the things that didn't work out as well. There seems to be a lot of acceptance with things. And you're not really looking backwards, and you're also not really looking that far forward. You just know that in this moment, you have to do something, right? You have to share and shine and express and share your value and share your talents and your skills. And that may come through in multiple ways and multiple avenues in your life and with multiple people. But I really feel that Scorpio is ready to stand in that spotlight to really be seen, and maybe feeling really tired of all the ways that they've been maybe holding back, or any of the delays that they've experienced. So let's go ahead and pull out. Now, normally I pull out the major arcana for the environment, but since I did it wrong with the first one, we'll pull out the court card for the environment instead. So this is going to be a king, a queen, a page, or a knight for what's going on in the environment. All right, even another fire quality with that Knight of Wands. Now, I do see two people in this Sun card, and I see an individual here kind of running away. The reading is going to go here, so he's kind of running away from the reading. So you may feel that someone is maybe going on their own path, or maybe they don't like the fact that you are truly shining, and they make maybe a little bit of a dramatic exit in your life. That could be a sigh of relief. Maybe some of you will be glad and really happy that that's the case. And maybe some of you, it's like, it's too bad. It's too bad that they had to make an exit, or they can't handle it. It's almost as though they can't handle the light. They can't handle what it is that you're giving. And maybe there is a little bit of an element of jealousy. Now, I don't normally see that with the Knight of Wands, but I'm feeling that because, of course, the quality of fire was so strong. That was the very first thing I said. And when someone is really ablaze, a lot of people can't take the heat. And so, I mean, I don't ever want to see anyone suppressing their light. That would be a bad idea, I think, because that would mean suppressing something that is really wanting to come forth. So if someone can't handle the heat, then they got to get out of the fire. So we have to let them go. We have to allow them their ideas and their opinions of, and to not try to change that. I don't see you spending any time trying to change it, actually. It just kind of seems like you're going to let them walk out the door. Now, this may or may not be a romantic partner. For those of you who are in healthy, high-quality relationships, most likely that is not the case. But if you are in challenging relationships, this full moon eclipse on November 8th, which is conjunct Uranus, might do the trick, right? Because that's a really volatile placement. Plus, you also have Mars retrograde in that 8th house. So when it comes to the bonds and the relationships that you have, those are being accentuated by the transit. So let's see what comes through. We're going to pull out 9 cards. So we have the Page of Coins, the Lovers, the Queen of Coins. Let's just start with these 3. I like the Page of Coins and the Queen of Coins. So I talked a lot about the fire and a little bit of a clumsy or a roundabout kind of path. But with the coins, it indicates to me that you very much know what you're doing, right? So while it may not be executed perfectly, you ultimately know exactly where this is supposed to go. And maybe one of the reasons why someone is really struggling is because it's going to require that they fully trust you. Maybe they don't fully trust you. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they're not at that level. And maybe it's their fear that is sort of coming up and really showing itself. And I think that's unfortunate, but you can't let it stop you from attaining your goals. And when we see the Lovers, there's often this really beautiful yin-yang. Now, this is kind of like, in an internal sense, when the Lovers comes out regarding what's going on inside of us, there is a wholeness and a completeness in terms of our own light and dark, our own beautiful and ugly, our own happy and sad, right? Our own love and fear, whatever the dualities are. This is where all the dualities come together in that perfect yin-yang sort of symbology here. There is also an element of choice, and that someone, most likely you, but like the choice really is, are you going to truly allow yourself to shine? Are you going to truly allow yourself to project out into the world in the way the sun projects its light? Are you going to project your passion, your talent, your skill? Or are you going to let the threat of this situation or this person leaving your life, are you going to let that threat hold you back? Because if someone is desperate or not solid in their sense of self-worth, they will very quickly shut themselves down for the sake of keeping an insecure individual in their life, because there's like a mirror of insecurity going on. I don't see Scorpio doing that. Some Scorpios might. If you're cross-watching for a Scorpio, they might be doing that. And, I don't know that they're going to be very happy about it, because they're going to know that they're holding back for the sake of someone that maybe isn't necessarily in their best interest, and they know it in their heart of hearts. But the Scorpios that succeed are the ones that are not going to let go of their sight on their goal with that Queen of Coins. They're going to keep the eye on the game, or their eyes in the game, eyes in their lane. They're going to stay in their lane, and they're going to be in it for the long haul. All right. I don't know that what you're executing right now, and I don't know that this passion and this energy and this fiery quality, now that fiery quality will wane. But what that fiery quality is initiating and getting going is likely going to stay around in your life for a very long time. The reason this is coming out now, right? Well, we have eclipses, so just generally speaking, the energy is quite heightened. Now, that could be heightened for a very good reason, because now is the time. Now, I'm not saying to initiate and launch this whole huge thing. It's just about going forward, right? On a path that you're probably already on. It's just perpetuating that. And it's lighting the fire under your butt a little bit and getting you motivated to really make that thing happen. So instead of keeping it simmering on the back burner, you're starting to bring it up to the front burner to bring it to a boil because you're about to really make some amazing meal or something, right? So we bring it off of simmer and we prioritize it. And because it becomes prioritized, we start dedicating more and more time and energy to it. The thing with the Queen of Coins is that she offers a lot of attention and nurturing to her garden, right? She waters it. She makes sure the soil is the proper pH. She makes sure there's appropriate sunlight. She makes sure everything is trimmed and that it's weeded, right? She tends to her garden. So that's why she has so much prosperity in her life, is because, where the energy goes, it grows. So we have the Chariot, we have the Two of Swords, and we have the Six of Coins. Now we really like the Chariot because it does indicate positive motion. Hold on, let me just check my camera really quick. Okay, just want to make sure I wasn't cutting off the card. So it indicates positive motion. It indicates ascension, growth, promotion. It indicates going up a level, right? It indicates that we are improving. We're graduating from one thing, and it's like we're graduating from high school and going to college. So there is a changeover in this particular astrological environment. And with it's interesting that the Two of Swords is directly underneath the Lovers, since both can indicate some kind of a crossroads or some kind of a choice. So it does seem to me that Scorpio is coming to a place in their life, what I call a choice point, right? This is a choice point that is really going to determine which destiny you really get to, okay? And there's no wrong choice here, and that's the important thing to know, is the only wrong choices is if you are sacrificing an aspect of self for the sake of someone else. My concern is that if you do that, okay, with this Knight of Wands running in that opposite direction, if you sacrifice this Sun quality for the sake of this Knight of Wands, I feel that the Knight of Wands is going to disappoint, and that would be something that you would likely regret. As much as the Knight of Wands is like a free, he represents the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. So there's that Jupiterian freedom, adventure loving, being really good at what they do, having a lot of knowledge, that kind of thing. But I just don't know that a knight is mature enough. It's not a good match for the Sun, I don't think. It just doesn't feel right to me. It's giving me an unequal playing field. This person isn't a true equal frequency match. And that may be a hard thing to admit, probably something you don't want to admit, but something that you know. So that would be the only wrong choice. I will tell you that if you allow this Knight of Wands to, now I'm not saying they're going to permanently leave, okay? It's not a definite breakup or a definite, loss of something, but they just may need to go their own way for a little while, or you may need to take time for yourself, for your season, for the next few weeks, whatever it is, and that's fine. And I will tell you that if you do have to go your own separate way from someone, things are going to even out real quick with that Six of Coins. Because it's likely that the absence or the energy that they give you is just going to fuel that fire even more. And you're going to say, okay, well, that means I just have to focus that much more. Now, the Page of Coins also indicates like a step-by-step, day by day. if I could talk, a day by day. And there is an aspect of learning with that Page of Coins. So I know that with all this fire and a learning curve, there are bound to be some mistakes, but don't stress about that. That should definitely not hold you back in any capacity. If you fumble, you just get back up, or, if you fall off the horse, you just get back up and go again, right? I don't see like massive wounding here with any kind of failure. It's just like a few stumbles before you kind of get your footing. And the Six of Coins says if you need to spend money, that money will come back. If you need to lose a person, another person will come in. If you need to do this, then that is going to fill in the gap. So there won't be a gap for very long. Don't be afraid of gaps. Don't be afraid of any sort of decrease. Look, I am going to say this in the astrology portion, but I'll say it here too as well. This new moon in Scorpio, which is happening on October 25th, and I know on November 1st, we're already, moving into the full moon eclipse in Taurus. But with the new moon eclipse in Scorpio, the new moon is creative, right? There's a creative essence to a new moon, but the moon is in detriment here, or it's in fall rather. We have the destructive component of Scorpio, and we have the south node, which can often lead to decrease and loss. Okay, so we have like these counterintuitive things going on. So the creativity of the new moon is being facilitated by destruction and loss. So when you experience something leaving your life, or something not working out, or someone being distant or whatever, please do not perceive that as a bad thing. Okay, just because it's unwanted doesn't mean it's bad. And it may actually help you get to your goal faster. All right? See, exactly. Three of Wands. Beautiful. Three of Wands is a card we always say is the ships are coming in, meaning prosperity, wealth, abundance, attention, recognition, reward, fame, whatever it is that you're seeking in your life. And it doesn't just have to be in a spiritual way. It can be in materialistic ways. When the North Node is in Taurus, it is okay for us to want materialistic things, okay? The Three of Coins as well. Excellent. And we have the Four of Coins. So, here's all this fire. But I think that fire is actually, now that I'm really looking at this whole spread, I'm like, well, I think the fire is going to be the facilitator of the destruction, right? And we have to deconstruct the obstacles in order to get there. Not deconstruct the obstacles, but more the obstructions. Okay, we have to tear those apart. And that's what the fire is going to be really good for, because it's going to help you to stay determined and ambitious to conquer and to overcome those obstructions. And maybe there are internal obstructions, like a mental narrative that you have in your head. I think with this Uranus North Node conjunction, and especially building up to that eclipse, and not to mention that later on in November, when we activate Sagittarius season in the second house, there are a lot of themes regarding our self-worth. So if there are hang-ups regarding what you do and do not deserve, that's probably going to be the first thing to be eliminated. And I'm seeing that with the Four of Coins, that there is a stubbornness and a stuckness. And even these stairs are like a flame, right? You're like burning the staircase here. You're burning the rigidity in your life, which is definitely saying something for a fixed sign. I know we throw all the stubbornness at Taurus all the time, but all the fixed signs have to contend with some degree and some level of stubbornness. And the thing about Scorpio that's really interesting is the way that they truly like to preserve the good, right? They like to preserve the good, which is why when something goes wrong, they continue to hold on and they continue to fight. And that's why we give that sort of possessive or obsessive quality to Scorpio, because they just want so badly for things to go back to that time when things were great. And they're not willing to just give in and just accept that something isn't working, right? And so that can make the destruction of something that much more destructive, because it doesn't, yes, it's a water sign, but does it really have that flow? Right? I don't know that Scorpio has as much flow as, say, Pisces, which is a mutable sign, right? So there's kind of that you're needing to contend with here, and it's being accentuated by someone that is doing something that is either unwanted or disagreeable, or something that you probably don't want to have happen. It may make you feel a little bit disconnected, meaning you kind of have to do a lot of stuff on your own. And with Mars going retrograde in the 8th house, I feel that even more strongly. That this is something that Scorpio is going to have to do on their own, because there's only room for one on this chariot anyway. And even if you wanted to bring this person along, they couldn't, okay? Because they have their own chariot that they're going to have to go catch. And sometimes those chariots don't always run at the same time. It's like two trains that don't always leave at the same time from the station, all right? But doesn't mean you can't both get to the same destination eventually. It's just that your train is here right now. You have to get on yours. So, and I do think you're going to feel that sense of urgency, because that's what eclipses bring out. They bring out an intensity of the energy. So intensity and urgency sometimes go hand in hand. But again, with that 3 of coins, you're building something incredible. You're designing something wonderful. So it's worth all of this. And I think that's what's keeping you going, is the fact that you know in your heart of hearts that it is worth it. And this Lovers, of course, being that embrace of all of the dualities that you're likely experiencing here this month. Whenever we have eclipses and whenever we are the host of the nodes, there is always this kind of off-kilter, feeling off-balance energy, because you're being pulled in more south node fashion, and pulling against you is that north node. So you kind of feel sometimes like you're being torn apart. Now that may be dramatic or not, doesn't have to be, but I think with the eclipses, it may be a little bit more obvious, okay? All right, so let's pull out the clarifiers. All right, so the cards I'm about to pull out are going to be the cards that we'll cover in the comprehensive reading. All of the information is going to be found in the description box and the comment thread down below for that. I'm not going to waste your time here, but just know that if you want to see the rest of the reading, you'll have to go to the description box, comment thread, and access the link that feels most appropriate for you, okay? So let's go ahead here and take a look at the Sun card and clarify the Sun. What else does Scorpio need to know about what the universe needs from them? Beautiful. We have the Fool. We have the Ace of Cups. And we have the Two of Coins reversed. Now for the environment, what else does Scorpio need to know regarding their environment? We have the Page of Swords, Six of Cups reversed, and a Knight of Coins. Okay. Even that Knight of Coins is walking in that direction. Okay. So now, hold on, I don't have reversals in here. 1 second. Okay. So let's clarify the Page of Coins. Another Two of Coins. Four of Wands, beautiful. We love the stability that brings. Always welcome. And then we have the Ten of Cups. Okay, we got the King of Wands reversed. Interesting that we got the King of Wands and a Knight of Wands with the Lovers card. There does seem to be something going on with someone that you are at least energetically attached to. Two of Cups. And a Four of Coins reversed. Queen of Coins, Seven of Swords. Another Three of Wands, beautiful. And a Queen of Wands, excellent. Chariot, Page of Swords, Six of Coins, King of Swords reversed. I'm struggling a little bit with these kings. A beautiful sun, again, excellent. Actually, I might do this for every sign. I kind of like it that way. We have Strength reversed. And the Eight of Coins. Knight of Swords reversed. Another Fool card matching over here. Man, another King reversed. Two of Wands, beautiful. I love when the Two of Wands comes out with the Three of Wands. It's absolutely one of my favorite combination. And another page, all the pages in this row. Interesting. And Justice reversed. Ace of Swords reversed. Another Knight of Coins. A Knight of Wands reversed. See, I had a weird feeling about the Knight of Wands. I had a weird feeling. Beautiful. A Magician. Two of Swords reversed and a Six of Wands. Okay, so this is where we are going to pick up in the comprehensive. Again, all that information will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below. Thank you all so much. You guys know how much I love and adore you. Have an amazing November, and I'll talk to you soon. And happy birthday once again. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to the Astrological Horoscope portion of this reading for November 2022. So let's go ahead and delve right in. Now, I have the clock set on this chart here for November 1st, but I think it's really important before we actually get into November to remember that we had or are about to have, depending on when I publish this video, an eclipse, a new moon eclipse in Scorpio at 2 degrees of Scorpio on October 25th. So between October 25th and November 8th, we are kind of in this building up to this incredibly powerful full moon eclipse in Taurus. Now, let me tell you why. I'm going to fast forward this clock to November 8th so you can see the reason why it is so powerful. You can see the sun sitting here at 16 degrees, 5 minutes. And of course, I don't have this set perfectly, but we do have Uranus at 16 degrees, 56 minutes, which means that exactly on that 16th degree, this eclipse is going to happen and Uranus is substantially involved. And it's not even like a loose conjunction. It's like an exact conjunction. So and it may not necessarily be the case that something will happen on this day, although in the United States, we do have the midterm elections being held on this day. So maybe globally or politically, there will be something happening. But I think for us in our own individual lives, this is actually a substantial launching point. And it's going to help us kind of take a bigger leap toward our goals. All right. Now, Uranus can, of course, be an unstable planet. The moon is a really unstable entity as well. As we know, it represents the impermanence of things. It's always waxing and waning and full and new and light and dark. It's always up and down. You know, it's a very unpredictable time. And this particular solar eclipse happening in the most stable zodiac sign, which is Taurus, fixed earth, you know, it's likely that some established aspect of our lives, and for you, this is happening in your relationship sector. So when I say relationships, it could be romantic relationships. It could also be business partnerships, or really anyone that you have a one-on-one connection with, that there may be some major breakthroughs or opportunities to reform those types of connections. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad, okay? Uranus actually really wants the best for everyone involved. He can be chaotic because what he does is he tears apart the structures that don't work. So if there are certain structures that are simply not working for you, or systems or sets of rules or narratives that you have going on up here, whatever the case may be, this is going to probably be the time when you can't help but make the changes that are needing to be made. All right. And as we see, Uranus is also very close to that North Node. Now, I've been saying this since August, September, October, November, December. For 5 months, Uranus and the North Node are very close together, and they're both kind of retrograding, you know, kind of in conjunction with one another, just a few degrees apart. And I've been calling this particular situation a portal. All right. And a portal meaning a chunk of time wherein we have opportunities to make big shakeups in our lives to help carry us into new desired lifestyle situations. Okay. And with the South Node traversing your sign of Scorpio, there's kind of this loss of identity going on, meaning it doesn't mean that you're losing yourself. It just means that you get to rewrite this self-concept, which is a really important aspect of manifestation, right? Because when you start rewriting your self-aspect as someone, or rather your self-concept as being someone who is, and you get to fill in the blanks. So someone who is extremely wealthy, or someone who is madly in love, or someone who is adventurous, who enjoys life, someone who doesn't carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, you know, whatever it is, this is that opportunity with the South Node, because identities and things that you may have clung to for a little bit far too long, they're starting to lose their grip. And you get to emerge in the way that only Scorpio can. You get to emerge this completely reinvented person. So this is a beautiful time, and it is Scorpio season. Happy birthday. I forgot to say that at the very beginning. Happy birthday, Scorpio. It is Scorpio season. So, you know, you definitely have either a solar return, or the sun is coming through your ascendant, or the sun is connecting with your moon, depending on which planet you're watching for, or which placement rather. I know the sun and moon aren't planets, but you get the idea. So depending on what you're watching for, it will kind of speak to you in different ways. But really, this is a time for Scorpio to really recharge their batteries, right? Whenever we have a solar return or the sun connecting with major placements in our chart, we do get a little bit of a charge. All right. Now, we also have Mercury in your sign at the beginning of November. Let me go back to November 1st. Okay, so we also have Mercury. It just came into Scorpio. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Mercury came into Scorpio on October 29th. We have the sun, and we also have Venus sitting at 11 degrees as well. So a lot of emphasis, a lot of energy being placed on the Scorpionic archetype. So there's an opportunity to, I think in a lot of ways, this has a lot to do with your role in certain obligations, your role and fulfilling those expectations, not only for other people, but also for yourself, but fulfilling those roles so that you can actually either be happy in the obligations in which you find yourself or the binding that you have, or you can find a way to relieve yourself of the pressure of those obligations, all right? We also have your ruling planet Mars, one of your ruling planets in modern astrology anyway, in retrograde. Now, Mars is actually pretty strong. Mars is going to be pretty strong all month. He will be in retrograde in the Uranian decan here, or the Saturn decan, depending on whether you're using traditional or modern astrology rulerships. But in this last decan here, so there is this opportunity to create reform. And I think reform is going to be the big word for November. Reform our own lives, reform the systems that are within our connections, our relationships, and to make the change that is essential in the areas of life that we are really struggling making changes with, right? We all have a point of stubbornness somewhere. We all have a point of a place where we don't really like to budge all that much. But Uranus North Node is saying you don't have a choice. You have to make these changes. And Mars is offering that ambition to do so. Okay. And Mars, as you can see, is very strong in the scoring. He's at a +8. Saturn is also sitting at a +8. Saturn being in Aquarius as well. And we know that Pluto and Saturn are both now moving direct as of October. This month, Jupiter is going to start moving direct. So we're going to start having a lot of those outer planets sort of start pushing forward. And we're going to start noticing things starting to align a little bit better. I think back in Virgo season, like Leo season, Virgo season, there were just so many retrogrades and there was so much mercurial energy going on with the activation of Virgo and also Mars being in Gemini. There was just so much mercurial energy that it was really hard to find direction. Well, this is a time when I think we are absolutely going to be committed to a direction and we're going to be able to make a lot of progress, okay? And remember, Pluto and Saturn both are now officially moving toward their new signs. Now, yes, Pluto will be going into Aquarius in 2023 in March, and then retrograding back into Capricorn, and then coming back into Aquarius. So I'm not saying that this is like the whole big shebang, but I am saying that this is the first time that Pluto has touched the Aquarian constellation since 248 years ago. So this is a big deal. And it's exciting because because Aquarian energy absolutely affords us the opportunity to push past known boundaries, to destroy the structures that don't work while still preserving the ones that do. So we're not completely going in full anarchy here, right? We're building upon the stuff that works within our lives. And because this is fourth house activation for you, this is a time where you get to kind of go back to the rule book, cross out anything that you need to cross out, take what works and start implementing and start leveraging those things to your ultimate benefit. All right. And that's all going to begin now with the eclipses, specifically the full moon eclipse in Taurus conjunct Uranus. It's kind of like saying it's now or never, right? Because we have to, we have to really push forward. Now, we've had, since July, we've had all these full moons, all right? In July, we had full moon conjunct Pluto, and then conjunct Saturn, and then conjunct Neptune, then conjunct Chiron, and now conjunct Uranus, and next month it's even going to be conjunct Mars. I don't make the rules, I just play by the rules here with astrology, right? So this is like a really insane moon cycle past 6 months, including this month and next month, 6-month period of time that we're having these. And I think this moon, it's like, okay, we really don't have a choice here. There's no time to really relax. There's no time to just chill. We are having to challenge ourselves to step up to the plate and to take specific actions. Now, I don't want you to be stressed out. This is not like you have to build your whole life in the next 2 months and that's the only time you have. I think for many people, this is going to be internal. Okay, for many people, this is going to be about really revising a specific script. And I think Mars in Gemini speaks to that beautifully. Rewriting a script, rewriting a story that we've been telling ourselves and reinforcing that officially has become a liability. And because it's a liability, it's been hindering our growth and our potential for love and money and high quality lifestyles and peace and serenity and whatever it is you're looking for in life. That particular story has been hindering us, and now we get to break the chains from that. So if there's no action that is obvious for you right now, take a beat, take a minute throughout November to really just allow yourself to rewrite and reconstruct a self-concept and work on developing this self-concept. Even if you don't fully believe it, you can still make choices accordingly, okay? We also have an activation of Sagittarius as well. Mercury and Venus will move in. Venus specifically on the 16th, Mercury on the 17th. And then a few days later, the Sun is going to move into Sagittarius on the 22nd. And then on the 23rd, we have the new moon at 1 degree of Sagittarius. So anyone who has placements at the beginning of Sag, you'll probably feel that one. And then on the 23rd, Jupiter moves direct at 28 degrees of Pisces. So actually, throughout the majority of November, Jupiter is moving very, very, very slow. And being at the last degrees of Pisces, specifically, it's really going to be hanging out here on the 29th degree for quite some time. We know that's the anaretic degree, right? It's an incredibly powerful, potent last degree of the entire zodiac. So because Pisces is so deeply connected with things like loss and suffering or letting things go, surrender, sacrifice, that kind of thing. This may be, and plus you've also got the South Node in your sign. We're going to have that new moon eclipse. So it wouldn't surprise me if Scorpio did have to go through a process of sacrificing an opportunity or sacrificing a relationship or something for the sake of another, better, more promising thing. Scorpios that exhibit fear this month and cling to something just because it is comfortable and just because it is known are really going to be shooting themselves in the foot here. This is a time that we are being asked astrologically to expand and to push our limits beyond what we are comfortable with. And being in the 5th house, I think this has a lot to do with your creativity and your self-expression, this Jupiter situation here. I think there's been something that you've been holding back. There's been something that you've been a little bit reserved in and with. And this is the time to unlock that, all right? Jupiter is giving that last opportunity to really unlock our light, our power, our ideas, our personality, like whatever it is, to truly unlock that and to really share it with the world in a way that may be uncomfortable, but that we feel excited and joyous about. Because Mars up here, and while he is all about reform, okay, I think he's also giving you an opportunity to slowly emerge, all right? Because his retrograde here is going to last a couple of months. And you know, it doesn't have to be this sudden overnight process. I think Scorpio is in the current, and the current is officially pulling them where they need to go. And it's a matter of allowing that current to carry you. And we know that currents can be strong, so it can be faster than you may think, as long as you don't try to swim against the current. First of all, you're going to get very exhausted if you do that. Things are going to feel really a lot harder than they have ever felt before if you fight progress in your own life. All right. But if you allow yourself to go with the flow, you'll see in the next 6 months just how far along you'll have gotten. Okay. So incredible month ahead for everybody, but Scorpio and Taurus specifically as the hosts of these wonderful eclipses that we're having. And so I think that you two are really the highlight of the month. So you don't want to hold back here. The spotlight is on you. You're the host of the sun right now. So you in Sagittarius near the end of November, excuse me. So, it's that time of year where we get to be, they always call this time of year like the villain, like the villain era, right? We have the villain era, and I always associate it with like Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius, right? Because this is when the sun starts to fall out of the sky and goes down toward the western horizon, right? So there's that kind of going into the darkness process that's happening, and we get to go within ourselves and go within our the deepest corners of our psyche, so that we can conquer, right? Of course, Mars being Scorpio's ruler, there is that element of victory and conquering and warrior-like energy, really going into ourselves and being very precise with what it is that is holding us back, that is causing us to fail, or that is causing us to play it too safe, and to release ourselves from that burden so that we actually can I'm kind of like getting the image of like a slingshot, right? So you pull it back, pull it back, pull it out. When you let go, bam, all of a sudden that rock or whatever is in the slingshot just shoots forward. So I kind of feel like that's what Scorpio season is going to be about for Scorpio. Okay? Powerful month. Maybe not as significant as October, but I think November definitely has a lot of fallout from that. So, all right. Thank you so much, Scorpio. You know I love and adore you. Have an amazing November. Happy birthday again to all of you. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.